it and you don't know baseball.
Ranger fans, you are not dreaming.
How can you not be romantic about baseball?
How can you not be romantic about a nice shutout victory and Nathan Eovaldi returning to the mound and looking good? And it's like, hey.
He's my new Max Scherzer. I'm in love with the guy.
It's great.
I love him.
Fantastic. And I hope, selfishly, one of them, DeGrom, Eovaldi, one of those two is going to make the All-Star team. And selfishly, it's like, you know what? I hope they both pitch on Sunday so they can play. Because, I don't want to see it. Like, save them. Save them, right? But when you got Eovaldi and DeGrom going back-to-back in the games, I mean, you've got a legitimate chance of leaving. Now, last night obviously didn't happen because they were going to work it back in slowly. But, I mean, you could give your bullpen a couple of days off, hopefully. And that puts you into a good spot for the next three because, with injuries and stuff, you need those guys to be ready to go, those bullpen guys. But
that's
all hell broke
news.
loose yesterday.
That's the good news.
That's the good news. Now let's get to the bad news, and that is Kevin Pillar. He was on Foul Territory, which is a podcast. It's a baseball podcast that I think that they simulcast on MLB Network. But this
Brzezinski.
That's Alec Medford's buddies.
He's tight with AJ Brzezinski?
He's tight with the production staff on that show. He sent them stuff from our interviews before, and they've played it.
AJ's on it. Eric Kratz was a longtime catcher in the sports on it. So it's a good one. It's a good, solid baseball podcast. And they had Kevin Pillar on. Now, Kevin Pillar was here, had a cup of coffee here.
Cup of coffee. 20 games.
20 games. But he got here, in the spring. So he was out there in Surprise. So he was on there, and they were like, tell us, man, what's gone on with the Rangers? So he started to hem-haw, and they're like, dude, no, let's go.
And just to be fair for context, yes, he was only here for 20 games. He was in the bigs for 13 years, so.
Been around.
He's been around.
Played with Atlanta, played with Toronto, played in a couple of different spots.
Got punched in the face here. He was in that Toronto brawl. He was one of the guys who got clipped in the face.
So he's not a hot take guy, right? He's actually, and I think this matters. He had moved his family here before this season. This is where they are setting up shop to retire long term. And I was just at the Derek Holland golf tournament.
No.
Baseball's a very small fan. They all know each other. There's a ton of athletes here. He's not going to go speak out of pocket and then have to deal with these guys for the rest of his life because he's staying here.
Sure.
So I think that plays. So they're like, no, dude, why is it going so badly this year? What's the problem? I went and got 3 answers from him, and here is number one, talking about, one thing that surprised him.
I thought they would be a little bit tighter as a group. I thought it would be like, kind of like my experience in Atlanta. That was probably one of the tightest groups since, I was in Toronto. It's like everyone just, pulled on the same rope. Everyone wanted to hang out. Everyone wanted to do everything together. Everyone, winning was the most important thing every day. And, when I got in the clubhouse in Texas, there's a lot of talent in there, and there's just a lot of individual stuff going on. A lot of guys are doing their own thing. You might not see people till the game goes on.
Until the game?
Guys are kind of just doing their own thing, whether they have their own and there's not a knock against people that have their own routines, right? Some people, have routines where they do like training room and they do their own stuff in the weight room. They have everything kind of timed out. As you get older in the game, you earn that right to kind of like, this is how I go through my routine.
No BP.
Yeah, not a lot of BP, not a lot of, stretching together. And I just felt like maybe for me, just being kind of the outcast, because it's a lot of the same guys there that won the World Series. So maybe I was kind of on the outside. I was kind of looking more of a way to kind of, get in that inner circle. And a lot of that times that comes through, stretch and BP where you talk about things other than baseball. You get to know guys a little bit more. And that would even start like in spring training.
Man, the no BP? There's not a lot of BP? Well, no wonder y'all can't hit. I mean, you're going out there rolling your shoulders and you're out there cold. I mean, truthfully, they're doing BP under the stadium, I'm sure.
Yeah, they're doing cage work probably on their own.
I mean, typically it's like, how are you not out there doing BP?
So I had told you guys this years ago at the beginning of Seager's tenure that Corey kind of off to the side doing his own thing. The other day, I think it was Osuna celebrating his first home run. Corey, you just saw him on the bench, like staring at the iPad. Jeff Passan had the profile of how maniacal and scientific Corey Seager is. A lot of these guys with their own coaches.
They have their own coaches. That's not unique to Seager or anybody in this team. A lot of the big-time stars have their own, not even big-time stars, a lot of the players have their own hitting coach that they have used for years, that know their swing in and out.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
I've heard random things here and there. I don't know how up-to-date it is right now, to be honest, but I had heard some things I wasn't expecting about Simeon back in the day because he was brought in to be a team leader. Nate Lowe, I had heard some things, and I always look at Nate Lowe, and I'm like, all right, that's a glue guy. That's a chemistry guy. I guess the part that I like to focus on is your commentary about chemistry in baseball and how important it is. And I was going to go the direct opposite end because common sense would tell me chemistry is needed the absolute least in Major League Baseball amongst all the team sports. Literally any other team sport you can name. You need it more in soccer. You need it more in basketball. You definitely need it more in football. You need it more in hockey. Baseball, to me, and correct me where I'm wrong here, and Bassick, Holland, if you're listening, Sandler, whoever, this is an individual sport in a team setting.
It is.
My pitcher's by himself. Pitcher and catcher, maybe the part where the relationship is needed the most. I'm up there every day with my own 4 at-bats. I'm out there fielding my own position. Yeah, for a double play, I need some chemistry there. But why do I need great chemistry in baseball when it's one-on-one?
Yeah, it's not like the on-court, on-field, on-ice chemistry. It's probably less, like the obviously in baseball because you don't have to work necessarily together. But you are in baseball with these guys more than any other sport. I mean, they're with these guys from noon to midnight every day. The longest road trips. It's more of a comfort thing. And you could tell, man, so when I was at Derek's tournament on Monday, a lot of the guys were from that 2010 team that were there, or dude, these guys acted like they never they haven't missed a beat.
Yeah.
It's like the friend you have that you don't talk to, but you grew up with, and you pick up right where you left off with that conversation. And if it's not there, again, it's not a big deal. But I think it just is surprising. It's like there's no togetherness, there's no friendship, it seems, or that's kind of what he's hinting at. That just seems odd. No BP.
I think it matters least of the 3 major sports. The chemistry probably matters the least in terms of play-to-play success, like what you're talking about. Because you're in the outfield, you're over here, you got your spot that you're operating with. Besides, like you said, the battery, but it might matter the most from just a morale standpoint, because like Chop says, they're around each other all the time. They're basically living together for 162 days together. Kinsler and Beltre getting sideways in 2013, whatever year that was. Kinsler gave that interview where he's like, that's the moment where we were screwed. And we knew our team, no matter how many of the talented guys were still around, people got bitter with Josh at the end, we heard about. And that started ruining chemistry. Nelly Cruz choosing to take that 50-game suspension and then showing up right for the Orioles playing game. A lot of guys felt bitter about it. And so
are the Mets going to fall apart?
Right. Yeah, and I think and also if you enjoy the people that you're there with, maybe you get to the ballpark earlier. And if you're at the ballpark earlier, maybe you're getting your workout in. Maybe you're getting your extra BP in. If you don't really love the guys you're playing with, maybe you stay at home till 2:00 in the afternoon instead of getting there at noon. I mean, I don't know if that matters.
In a better mood during the game.
Right. Maybe that matters. Maybe it doesn't.
I like G-Bag. Other than, the shots that they take. I like G-Bag. I like the interactions we have with them. They genuinely don't really affect what we do segment to segment here. But, in general as a whole, the fact that we get along with them and we can play, fun take shots and stuff like that makes, I think, everybody better. And it makes us, it makes morale better.
This is Kevin Pillar on the Foul Territory TV podcast. So One of the things we talked about is, individual winning. He talked about guys winning, but not really enjoying it even when they were.
To me, the reason I think a lot of guys just got off to a bad start individually, and the pitching was so good, and they were still winning games. I guess it was we at the time. They were still winning games. The winning didn't seem – a lot of guys weren't, enjoying that we were winning games. A lot of people got caught up in their own failures and just – it wasn't even like, we had an aircraft. It wasn't like one guy was carrying the team. They were driving all the runs. It was like, we managed to get a couple guys on base. Someone would come with a big hit. You'd win 2-1, but they'd be 1 for 4. Everyone else, 0 for on the day. And that just happened for, pretty much the first month of the season. And then it just kind of felt like there was a lot of panic setting in. There was things that happened, behind closed walls. Things were getting taken away. Things were being, forced upon. Things were becoming mandatory.
He didn't really go into what was forced upon, what was maybe BP, maybe they mandated, maybe that was mandated.
You have to hit to practice.
You have to warm up. You got to throw. You got to stretch. I do find it interesting because baseball. I tell my kids, baseball is the ultimate game of failure. Like if you can't deal with failure, you can't play this sport. And football, Patrick Mahomes is going to go out there and have basically the same game every time. He's going to have a good game. Shohei Ohtani might go 4 for 4. He might go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. Like, you have no idea. And you're still going to win that game, and you're still going to be happy if you won that game. And he would continue with guys just not being...
This is kind of, to stick on this point, this is kind of like a Micah thing, right? You destroy the New York Giants, Micah gets shut out, and he's not happy.
Right.
It's so hard, though, because I was thinking of the same thing when he was talking, because I was like, what do I want, though? Do I want the offense happy with how they were hitting? I don't. Nobody wanted them to be like, yeah, but at least we're winning games. Yeah, but you're not going to keep winning games if you keep hitting like that. But also at the same time, you don't want them dragging it down because you didn't play well.
Yeah.
I
imagine the nerves. I mean, they're playing okay right now, but the nerves and the tension during the deadline.
Right.
These guys are all sitting here like Adolis Garcia or different pitchers, and you're looking over your shoulder.
Absolutely.
With all these rumors.
It's got to be tough to deal with. He would continue talking about guys not being necessarily satisfied just with winning.
A lot of guys were trying to make up for a bad start. They were trying to get it all back in one day, as opposed to being like, I kept trying to remind guys, I'm like, there was a point we were like 13-6 and we had like the worst batting average in baseball. I'm like, collectively, we have hit rock bottom as an offense, but we are winning games. Like, this should motivate us. Like, we should be thankful that our pitching staff is so dominant and that we're finding ways to win games. And like, day by day, we're going to get out of this. And it's just kind of been that trend all year. It's like guys are trying to get above water. And it's a hard thing to do. I mean, I've been there too. I think that's the hardest thing about baseball. Baseball, I've always said this, baseball is the ultimate team sport, but it's also the ultimate individual sport.
That's what Shan was saying.
Well, back to what you were saying, let's not compliment each other too much here, Bobby.
We're about to go on holiday. We're all happy.
Yeah, it's got to be a really, really difficult thing that you win, but you're mired in a 1 for 20. In basketball, you can defend or grab an offensive rebound, but in baseball, your struggles are going to be highlighted more even while you're winning.
Yeah, because
football, you can block downfield if you're not getting the deep ball. And you can play defense. I get it in baseball.
But you also might get one ground ball to you the whole game.
Yes.
Like Josh Young could be hitting 170 and go 0 for 4, but make 3 diving stops down the third baseline. And be like, you know what? I stepped to the plate. I contributed. But the very next game, he might have the same offensive stat line, get 0 balls hit his way. It's possible. And you feel like, what did I do here? I did nothing.
So put this on the something to nothing scale.
It's something. This would help explain some of the issues if they've got chemistry issues. And I think it's easy for a lot of people to, it's important to, I think, hear that instead of just read it. I think it's important for a lot of people, if they read that, are maybe like, is he whining? Is he bitter? He was let. That sounds like a dude
He's not
like,
aggressive whatsoever.
He sounded like a dude who's genuinely upset that he didn't get to make a connection with people. Like, I was really looking forward to like getting to know these guys, and I couldn't. And it made me think of years ago when I had Ranger season tickets. When we were out there at batting practice, and I remember must have been 2010. They were playing Hey Soul Sister over the PA.
Hey, Soul Sister.
And David Murphy's like in the cage, and he swings, and he goes, Josh's favorite song messed me up, because he like hit one and like had fallen short. And Josh goes like, ugh, like Hamilton rolls his eyes, and everybody's like, oh, come on, that's your favorite one. Like, can we go talk to them? Can we put it up again? And it's like, there's just this camaraderie there where they all know, like, apparently Josh hates that song, and they all know that, like, oh, let's mess with him on this. And they're all just loose, and that's better than everybody's isolated and doing their own thing beforehand.
It's, look, I mean, this is a guy, like I said,
it's like what we talk about with Schottenheimer. Like, all this culture stuff may not matter, but it's better than not getting along.
It's absolutely, you know, and one of the really good point in the fan text for the 956. You fail so much in the sport if your teammates are not uplifting, like if you're not in it all together, you can feel like you're on an island and you can spiral out of control. It's a great point.
Yeah.
And that's right, you know, and like Pilar, again, he moved here before the season, before he even signed here, he wanted to move to DFW. So it's like, again, he's going to be seeing these guys around town. Baseball's a small circle. So it's not like he's can just never see any of these players again. He's going to see them because these athletes live in like 4 different neighborhoods around town, right? There's only a handful of spots where you have they have so much money. They're going to live in the same, their kids are going to school together. I don't think he's just going to speak out of pocket and lie about this.
I don't think Pilar, the final thing I can add to this is I don't think Pilar was necessarily well received here while he was here. He wasn't a loved guy in the 20 games. I do know that. So there it is, some Diamond Cavs, RJ Choppy going through the Kevin Pilar interview, something or nothing.